Yang Yu, an ordinary recluse, leads an utterly unremarkable existence in this steel city. The only thing that sets him apart is his complete ignorance of how he arrived in this world. For 20 years, he has lived a life of poverty and isolation. Residing in a modest 20-square-meter room, his sole companion throughout these 2 decades has been an old second-hand smartphone. As night falls, a torrential downpour ensues outside, accompanied by thunder and lightning, with serpentine bolts appearing to rend the very sky asunder. The resounding thunder resembles the furious roars of a colossal dragon, leaving onlookers in a state of stunned disbelief. Is it not the year 2012? Faced with this apocalyptic scene, tears flow freely from many, while government officials across the globe are frantically engaged in managing reports of casualties. Major news networks begin broadcasting speeches from national leaders in an attempt to soothe the public's anxiety. Meanwhile, Yang Yu remains blissfully unaware, nestled in sleep with his phone clutched in hand, undisturbed by the cacophony outside. Uncertain of how long he has slumbered, the tempest outside continues unabated. A full day and night pass, yet Yang Yu shows no inclination to awaken. 3 days later, the storm's fury abates, and a spherical lightning bolt, having traversed from the distant reaches of the cosmos, descends upon Earth. It encircles Yang Yu, then seamlessly merges into his being through his brow. Chapter 2. The Awakening of the Martial Soul with the Sound of a Baby's Cry. Yang Yu arrived in a small village located in the extreme north of the Doloa continent. Unbeknownst to him, he had traversed into this world. He distinctly recalled the moment of his demise, having plunged a fake Xianyuan sword into his heart. How could he have inexplicably crossed over? Yet, as he beheld the concerned gazes surrounding him, a flicker of warmth passed through his heart. As an orphan, he had never been the recipient of such attention. However, he felt no connection to his parents, no sense of blood ties. Could it be due to his status as a transmigrator? If that were the case, he resolved to live fully in this world, striving to reach its pinnacle and embracing a life filled with romance and adventure. Time flew by, and 6 years swiftly passed. During this period, Yang Yu diligently practiced an unnamed technique from his previous life, which he had learned from an old man on Kunlun Mountain during a decade of vengeance. After imparting the technique, the old man had uttered, "You are a fated one. This sword art shall be passed to you. Master it to its zenith, and you will become the sole god of war in the world." Then, he vanished without a trace. This technique had greatly aided Yang Yu in his quest for revenge. Yet on Earth, he found himself unable to transcend the peak of the first level, while this technique boasted a total of 12 levels, leaving him in despair. However, upon arriving in Doloa continent, the abundant spiritual energy of this realm allowed Yang Yu to reach the early stages of the second level in just 2 years. This realization left him speechless. 2 years here surpassed a decade on Earth. He began to suspect that the old man had foreseen his arrival. As Yang Yu continued to cultivate, he grew to a height of 1.50 meters, possessing a slender figure adorned with long black hair streaked with hints of gold, and eyes that sparkled with an unusual vitality for his age. Though he was not conventionally handsome, his mysterious and mature aura made him unforgettable. With the passage of time, his strength had grown, and he had matured, but the day of martial soul awakening approached ever closer. The village where Yang Yu resided was a small one, home to a few dozen families. This year, both he and a young boy turned 6, and under the village chief's guidance, Yang Yu was about to awaken his martial soul. Xiaoyu, whether you become a soul master is not important. Even if you do not, you can still hunt alongside your father and live a happy life without worries. His father, Yang Ling, reassured him. I understand, Dad. You know me well. What is mine cannot be taken, and what is not mine cannot be forced. So there is no need for concern. Yang Yu replied to his father. His mother, Lu Yan, looked on with pride at her son, while Yang Ling silently rejoiced, thinking, this little rascal has always been promising. There is no need for worry. Ha ha ha. As the only soul master in the village called out the names of the 2 children, Yang Yu approached the place designated for the awakening of their martial souls. Relax and attune yourself to your martial soul. Let us begin. Ice Wolf, manifest. With his command, Yang Yu's body began to transform. His hair elongated and turned blue, while his physique expanded. After a moment, he felt a warm energy within him becoming clearer and more substantial. With a low shout, a great tree emerged behind him, lush with green leaves and adorned with numerous dark fruits. He murmured as the tree integrated into his being. Meanwhile, the other child's martial soul materialized as merely a hoe. prompting a flicker of disappointment in the village chief's eyes. "Now, we shall test your soul power. Place your right hand upon this sphere," he instructed, producing a blue orb from his chest. As Yongyu placed his hand on the orb, a surge of energy flowed into it, causing it to emit a brilliant light. Full innate soul power. Unbelievable. This young lad is a genius. At last, our village has produced a prodigy. The village chief exclaimed, his voice brimming with excitement. The villagers were astonished, though some murmured among themselves. Isn't it just full innate soul power? Is it really that remarkable? Yongyu opened his eyes, a glimmer of joy illuminating his expression. While full innate soul power served as a fundamental measure of a soul master's talent in Dolua continent, the true significance lay in the number of martial souls one possessed. Dual martial souls were the hallmark of a true genius. At this moment, Yongyu's exhilaration stemmed from his own dual martial souls, both exceptionally powerful. One was the demon fruit tree, and the other was the legendary holy sword, Xianyuan sword. From the information relayed by both martial souls, Yongyu discerned their functions and cultivation methods. He envisioned the might of both souls and felt assured that he would surpass Tang San. Even without divine favor, his second martial soul, the Xianyuan sword, could ascend to divinity, for it was a divine artifact, no ordinary divine weapon, but the foremost among the ancient 10 treasures. Nothing could rival its prowess. The demon fruit tree, while not as formidable as the Xianyuan sword and reliant on divine inheritance, was still powerful. It surpassed the martial souls of the renowned light and dark Dalaw of Dalaw continent, even exceeding the holy light dragon and the dark dragon. For it could produce demon fruits based on the characteristics of hunted soul beasts. 100,000-year soul beast could yield 2 demon fruits with no limit to quantity, meaning you could potentially acquire at least 9 demon fruits. The thought filled him with immense excitement. Was there a more formidable martial soul? Certainly, aside from the Xianyuan sword. Moreover, his second martial soul, the Xianyuan sword, elucidated the mystery of his transmigration. It was the very sword he had used in his moment of despair. The Xianyuan sword was undoubtedly the premier martial soul in existence. What could compare to it? The Haotian hammer, the sea god trident, the Shura holy sword. None could stand against it. The only artifact capable of rivaling it might be the Pangu axe, but would it ever appear in Dolua continent? Unlikely. The appearance of the Xianyuan sword here seemed a serendipitous coincidence, a stroke of extraordinary fortune. Could this world bear the consequences of 2 supreme artifacts? The answer, in a word, was precarious. As his martial soul awakened, Yongyu also discovered the name of the unnamed sword technique he had learned, the Xianyuan sword technique. It appeared the old man had recognized the Xianyuan sword and thus entrusted him with its secrets. "Xiaoyu, you have truly brought honor to your father." Yongyu's father, Yongling, approached his son, who was still in a state of astonishment, and patted his shoulder, filled with admiration. Yongyu's mother, Lu Yin, beamed with joy, while the villagers joined in laughter, congratulating Yang's parents. Some families even considered betrothing their daughters to Yongyu, but his parents declined the offers, joking that their son was a genius soul master who deserved to marry a celestial fairy. Let us rest today and organize our thoughts tomorrow," Yongyu murmured before closing his eyes and drifting into slumber. The next morning, Yongyu ventured into the small forest outside the village, summoned his second martial soul, the Xianyuan sword, and commenced his daily training. Xianyuan sword art. As Yongyu called out, the Xianyuan sword shot forth, producing a series of sharp slicing sounds as it cleaved through the air, creating a rectangular hole approximately 30 centimeters long in a tree. Though he had yet to add a soul ring, combined with the Xianyuan sword technique, he was nearing the level of a great soul master, Yongyu thought to himself. Inborn soul power has already reached the point where the first soul ring can be attached. The soul rings of the Xianyuan sword will eventually be complemented with 10,000 and 100,000-year soul rings, striving for self-cultivation to attain divinity. The demon fruit tree will serve as the mainstream in the future. First, I must attach a soul ring. Currently, I have matters to attend to in the extreme northern lands, so I must seek out an exceptionally ice attribute soul beast, allowing the demon fruit tree to bear a fruit of ultimate ice. This will ensure my combat power, thus allowing me to gain recognition upon entering Shrek Academy. However, the Ice Emperor Scorpion is a pack soul beast, which is not feasible. The Snow Spirit possesses overwhelming combat strength, making it impossible to defeat. It seems my only option is to hunt an extreme ice fox in the Xuanhu Forest, Yongyu pondered. There are 3 types of ultimate ice attribute soul beasts in the extreme north: the Ice Emperor Scorpion, the Snow Spirit, and the extreme ice fox. The first 2 are far too formidable for Yongyu's current capabilities, so he must seek trouble with the extreme ice fox instead. It appears that tomorrow I shall depart without notice, venturing alone to hunt soul beasts. Alas, what a tiresome fate I have. Yang Yu sighed as he hurried home. Chapter 3. The Xuanhu forest. Time passed swiftly. 10 days had slipped away. During this period, Yang Yu's parents initially intended to invite the village's soul master to accompany them in hunting soul beasts to obtain the first soul ring. However, Yang Yu declined, citing the need to contemplate the type of soul ring he desired. How could he share the hunt when he aimed to capture the extreme ice fox for its ultimate ice attribute? With a swift strike, the Xianyuan sword pierced the heart of a snow domain demon wolf, causing Yang Yu to plop heavily onto the snow. Goodness, this soul beast is barely over 1,000 years old. Must it be so difficult to slay? Yang Yu complained, gazing at the carcass before him. In truth, not all 1,000-year soul beasts are challenging to defeat, but our protagonist unfortunately encountered a magical wolf. Wolves are inherently ferocious creatures, and this one is infused with attributes, making it quite a feat for a mere 6-year-old child to conquer. Having been out for an entire day, Yang Yu still had half a day's journey to reach the Xuanhu forest. He stood up and continued on his way. Throughout the day, Yang Yu managed to slay over a dozen soul beasts, all of which were century-year beasts, with the snow domain demon wolf being the only 1,000-year beast. Nonetheless, this took a considerable amount of time. Although the Xianyuan sword art is formidable, he is only at level 10. After 2 attacks, his soul power was depleted, leaving him quite helpless. Yang Yu wished he could merge with the soul ring of that snow domain demon wolf and together wreak havoc. As dusk fell, Yang Yu found a cave near the Xuanhu forest, preparing to cook his meal. Dinner consisted of the snow domain demon wolf, while not particularly delicious. It was the price the creature paid for crossing paths with him. Gathering kindling and lighting a fire, he seasoned a wolf leg. And soon the enticing aroma of roasted meat wafted from the cave, drifting into the night. After 20 minutes, the entire snow domain demon wolf was transformed into a fragrant dinner. Just as Yang Yu was about to indulge, a small fox burst into the cave, exclaiming, "Stop." Yang Yu stared in astonishment at the small fox before him, with its snow-white fur and eyes like flawless black jewels sparkling with vitality. It was none other than the extreme ice fox he had sought. However, instead of excitement or joy, Yang Yu felt apprehensive because this extreme ice fox could speak. The ability to speak signifies that this fox is a 100,000-year soul beast. At that moment, Yang Yu internally lamented his unfortunate fate. Cautiously observing the small fox, he inquired, "Do you wish to eat?" "Well, of course, I am not here for anything else," the little fox replied. Yang Yu silently cursed in his heart. 100,000-year soul beast is demanding food from a mere child. What audacity! Oh, but wait, what about its pride? Ah, such a well-behaved little brother, the fox chuckled, entirely oblivious to Yang Yu's grim expression. Is this fox about to become a spirit? He wondered. Are you the extreme ice fox? Yang Yu asked, eyeing the fox as it savored the wolf leg. The little fox responded, its mouth full. I don't care. This is the extreme ice fox's answer, Yang Yu thought, feeling frustrated. I've been here for the past few days. If you are hungry, you can come here every night. I promise you will eat until you are full, he said, noticing the little fox's trembling, feeling it must have some hardship. Furthermore, as a 100,000-year soul beast, if it chose to consume Yang Yu, it would not merely feast on his roasted meat. Yang Yu realized that this fox was not the type to attack humans, making friendship with a 100,000-year soul beast a promising choice, despite its cunning nature. Upon hearing Yang Yu's words, the extreme ice fox lifted its delicate head, its dark eyes locking onto Yang Yu's, as if trying to discern something from his gaze. However, Yang Yu's eyes were pure and untainted, causing the little fox to twitch its ears and resume its feast. Yang Yu approached, placing a roasted front leg before the extreme ice fox, allowing it to enjoy a hearty meal. The little fox thanked him and then returned to its meal without further acknowledgement. Yang Yu sat beside the fox, watching it eat, then glanced at its bushy tail. Curiously, he reached out to touch its fluffy tail, which the fox did not seem to mind. The moment his hand made contact with the soft fur, it felt as if he were caressing the skin of a maiden, cool and smooth, akin to a baby's skin. Yet, before 10 seconds had passed, the little fox sprang away, darting to the cave entrance, its once immaculate white fur now tinged with pink, its eyes darting as if on the verge of tears. "Ah, I did not mean to. It was merely out of curiosity. Please don't be angry. I apologize," Yang Yu quickly exclaimed, seeing the fox's dramatic reaction. The little fox scrutinized Yang Yu for a moment, its fur darkening in color, before huffing and leaving. What a proud little fox, Youngyu mused. Moreover, it seemed to be a female. Upon that thought, he raised his hand, but instead of the expected fox scent, he was met with a faint, pleasant fragrance. I believe I have accomplished something remarkable, Youngyu chuckled. After dinner, he sealed the cave entrance and went to sleep. The next day, Youngyu searched the entire Xuanhu forest but found not a single extreme ice fox. It was not until dinner that he finally spotted one. Yet he was unable to approach her and dared not inquire where the extreme ice foxes of the forest had gone. He could not risk revealing his intent to hunt her for a soul ring, fearing she might devour him. However, after yet another attempt to touch her tail ended with the same result as before, she departed. This continued for 3 days, and Youngyu nearly grew accustomed to the routine of touching her tail before retiring for the night. By the 6th day of his expedition, still without sight of the extreme ice fox, Youngyu felt despondent and resolved to hunt an ice emperor scorpion the following day. That evening, the little fox arrived on schedule. This time, Youngyu refrained from speaking to her or touching her tail, which piqued her curiosity. "What's the matter? You seem off today," she observed. Initially, the little fox felt a twinge of anger at Youngyu's earlier words, but upon seeing his eyes and hearing his self-deprecating tone, a flicker of sweetness blossomed within her heart. "How about you come meet my mother? You may find unexpected rewards. Perhaps she can provide you with answers." Upon mentioning her mother, the little fox's eyes filled with sorrow and longing. Youngyu listened to her words, nodded, and gently cradled the little fox in his arms, pressing it against his chest. "Lead the way," he said, and began to walk towards the cave's entrance, completely unaware that the fox nestled in his embrace had transformed into a creature with soft pink fur, its body trembling slightly. Chapter 4. The Ice Emperor's Fox King of a Million Years. Upon exiting the cave, the little fox guided Youngyu toward the direction of the Mystic Fox Forest. However, Youngyu was perplexed. "Isn't the Mystic Fox Forest devoid of mystic foxes? Why are we heading there?" he inquired. "Do not concern yourself. Simply follow my directions." The little fox, hearing his question, felt an overwhelming wave of sorrow wash over her, causing her body to shudder and tears of sadness to well up in her eyes. Sensing something was amiss, Youngyu reassured her, "I will stay by your side," and refrained from further questioning. The little fox, comforted by his words, ceased her lamentation, nudged her head into his embrace, and resumed her focus on the path ahead. Though Youngyu was merely 6 years old, his embrace provided her with a profound sense of security. As long as she remained in his arms, her sorrow would dissipate. After a brief passage of time, under the little fox's guidance, Youngyu arrived at the entrance of a cave. Standing at the threshold, he felt an intense chill that threatened to freeze his very blood. Fortunately, the little fox infused him with a surge of soul energy, preventing him from succumbing to the cold. "My mother is within," she warned. "For certain reasons, the temperature here has plummeted to extremes, so you must stay close to me. And do not touch anything, or you may become crippled." With that, the little fox led Youngyu deeper into the cave. As they traversed further, Youngyu glimpsed a radiant, ice-blue light streaming from within, devoid of any impurities. The deeper they walked, the more intense the hue became, leading Youngyu to speculate that they might be entering a mine of ice-blue jade. He glanced at the little fox, increasingly convinced of this possibility, for she hardly seemed to be a mere 10,000-year soul beast. Upon reaching the innermost chamber of the cave, Youngyu was astonished by the sight before him. Over 20 ice-blue jade pillars, each as thick as a bowl, scattered throughout the space. A massive Ice Emperor's fox, comparable in size to a water buffalo, lay languidly upon one of the pillars, exuding an aura of tranquility. Yet, upon closer inspection of the fox's body, Youngyu felt a sense of unease. Its once glossy fur was marred with patches of charred blackness, as if it had been struck by lightning or scorched by fire. Observing the change in the little fox, Youngyu's mind was filled with questions. "You brought me here, so why the hesitation?" he thought. At that moment, the Ice Empress Fox King opened her eyes, casting a benevolent glance at the little fox before shifting her gaze to Youngyu. Although he was not particularly handsome, an air of maturity and mystery emanated from him, captivating her attention. After a moment of contemplation, the Ice Empress Fox King nodded in approval and spoke. "You are Youngyu, 6 years old, here to hunt soul beasts for your first soul ring?" Youngyu nodded, not daring to lie, as she had already discerned the truth at first glance. "Are you aware of the million-year soul beasts?" she queried, a glimmer of sorrow passing through her eyes as she did so. "That magic whale does not qualify as a million-year soul beast, for it has not yet undergone the tribulation. It was on the verge of transcending but was unfortunate enough to be slain by a tidal dolua, the Ice Empress Fox King remarked with a hint of derision. Yongyu, however, was taken aback, his gaze fixated on the wounds adorning the little fox's mother, his eyes wide with shock. Perhaps sensing his scrutiny, the mother fox's lips curled into a faint smile as she said, "You need not worry. I recently overcame the tribulation to become the continent's first million-year soul beast." Yet, her smile quickly turned bittersweet. Yongyu remained silent, his eyes locked on her, waiting for her to continue. "Although I successfully transcended, I have sustained injuries to my essence, and I have but a few days left to live. Furthermore, my kin perished while aiding me during the tribulation. Now, only my daughter and I remain." The little fox's mother lamented, directing her gaze toward the little fox, who, in turn, felt their eyes upon her. Instantly, her fur turned a vibrant red, eliciting a flicker of comfort in her mother. "Young man, I must entrust you with a request. During my tribulation, I was unable to endure and burned my essence to force my success. Now, my remaining essence can sustain me for only a year or two. However, my daughter longs for the human world. In 12 years, she will reach 200,000 years. She wishes to transform into a human and venture into the human realm. But I cannot accompany her for protection. Thus, I implore you to grow stronger over these 12 years, and when the time comes for her to enter the human world, you must safeguard her. She may remain by your side during this time, and I hope you will treat her as family. Will you accept this charge? If you do, I can bestow upon you a tremendous opportunity," the Ice Empress Fox King implored, her expression turning grave as she gazed at Yongyu. "You need not worry. I will treat her as my own kin. As for 12 years hence, I am confident in my ability to become a soul sage, a powerful soul dolua. I will protect her without fail. Even if you do not grant me your opportunity, I will ensure her safety," Yongyu replied resolutely. "Very well. Then I entrust my daughter to you. With my final concerns alleviated, I shall grant you this immense opportunity." With that, a drop of golden blood emerged from her brow and merged into Yongyu's. "What I am about to do is reserved for 10,000-year soul beasts, a sacrifice. Not only will your first soul ring be a million-year soul ring, but it will also grant you 3 soul abilities. So please, relax and accept the power from my sacrifice." As she spoke, her form began to transform slowly into a golden soul ring, floating above Yongyu's head. Witnessing her mother become a soul ring, the little fox, Mayer, wept, curling up in a corner and calling out, "Mama, Mama." Several hours later, as Yongyu's first martial spirit, the demon fruit tree, manifested behind him, the golden soul ring integrated into his being. Moments later, it appeared upon the trunk of the demon fruit tree. The 3 fruits atop the tree began to swell and ripen. As they matured, the golden soul ring radiated a dazzling light, swirling around the demon fruit tree in a mesmerizing dance, gradually condensing into a soft glow, before the tree itself vanished into Yongyu's body. At this moment, Yongyu's soul power reached level 17, and within 2 years, he would be ready to pursue his second soul ring. After a considerable time had passed, Yongyu slowly opened his eyes, golden light flickering within his jet-black irises. Scanning his surroundings, he spotted the little fox curled up in a corner, sound asleep. A peaceful smile graced Yongyu's lips as he silently vowed, "From this day forward, I shall protect you. Should anyone wish to harm you, they must first tread over my lifeless body." A determined glimmer shone in his eyes. Chapter 5. A great harvest on the journey home. The little fox, Mayer, awakened, though her condition was not ideal. The anguish of losing a loved one weighs heavily on anyone. Yongyu offered her a few comforting words but chose to remain quiet thereafter, allowing the little fox some peace. As he beheld the figures of his own parents, tears brimmed in Yongyu's eyes. After all, familial love was something he had never truly experienced in his 30-plus years of life, 6 years prior. Observing the little fox's state, Yongyu could only sigh, hoping that with the passage of time, her sorrow might eventually fade. Upon reflecting on this, Yongyu commenced his cultivation and began to organize the gains from this experience. Each time he pondered these achievements, a wave of excitement surged within him. The recent sacrifice of the Ice Phantom Fox King had elevated his soul power to the 17th level, with a staggering 99% of his soul power yet to be unleashed, all stored within the torso soul bone he acquired. With each future ascension, this stored power would be gradually released, potentially allowing his soul power to reach its utmost limit after absorbing each soul ring, perhaps 27 levels or even 38. It was conceivable that he might swiftly ascend to his peak and acquire the next soul ring. Moreover, this sacrifice had endowed him with a soul skill, which, rather than being offensive, resembled a domain-type illusion, a dream realm comprehension. Within this domain, his attributes would not collectively enhance, but the degree of weakening inflicted upon adversaries would depend on the disparity between their mental fortitude and his own. However, it was likely that he could not activate this soul skill until he attained the Soul King realm, as its consumption was immense. With his current soul power at level 17, he could scarcely sustain it for even a second. Nonetheless, the torso soul bone had fortified his physique to some extent, allowing his second soul ring to potentially be acquired from a 5,000-year-old soul beast. Furthermore, as he continued to practice the Xianyuan sword technique over the next 2 years, his physical condition would further improve. Although he could not obtain a 10,000-year soul ring, he could still aspire to acquire a 9,000-year soul beast. Yang Yu's ambition for his second soul ring was the gum fruit from One Piece, as it would significantly enhance his physical abilities. After all, wasn't Luffy from One Piece akin to an indestructible cockroach? Furthermore, it would greatly extend the lifespan of his third soul ring, which he envisioned to be at least 20,000 years or more. Yet, the soul bone was not his greatest acquisition. Rather, it was the 3 devil fruits, the ultimate ice fruit, the charm fruit, and the ultimate thunder fruit, more accurately referred to as the heavenly thunder fruit. The ultimate ice fruit was his initial goal. Upon consuming it, he would gain the power of ultimate ice. However, each fruit could only develop 2 skills, one supportive and one either offensive or defensive. He planned to develop the 2 skills of the freezing fruit, one, Frozen World, which served as a supportive skill and bore some resemblance to comprehension, and the second, the ultimate Ice Emperor sword, an offensive skill derived from the Xianyuan sword and the Xianyuan sword technique. The second devil fruit, the charm fruit of the Empress, would amplify Yang Yu's charm as he leveled up. His charisma would grow ever stronger, and the mysterious aura he possessed due to his transmigration might become increasingly pronounced. At level 10, his charm would increase by 10%, and at level 20, by 20%, and so forth. This enhancement left Yang Yu somewhat helpless, as he did not desire to elevate his charm, but it was a fixed skill he could not alter. His second soul skill, Captivating Arrow, would petrify anyone conquered by his charm. Even those who resisted would be temporarily turned to stone. This skill was indeed remarkable, especially when combined with the charm fruit and his formidable talents and strength. Yang Yu was confident he could petrify most individuals weaker than himself. However, he doubted whether he could petrify Hui Yuhao, the protagonist, as he would undoubtedly resist, driven by his vengeance. As for Wang Dong, given the divine mark left within her by her father, unless he reached the title Deloa level, he would have no chance against her. Nevertheless, Yang Yu remained confident in his abilities to temporarily petrify others. The third devil fruit, the heavenly thunder fruit, was Yang Yu's most significant gain. Perhaps it was due to the infusion of a thunderous power during the Ice Phantom Fox King's tribulation. Otherwise, the Ice Phantom Fox and the ultimate thunder had no correlation, making it improbable to condense the essence of ultimate thunder attributes. Yang Yu intended to develop one offensive and one supportive skill from it. The supportive skill, Thunder Flash, would resemble the Flying Thunder God technique, although it would not reach the level of teleportation, merely akin to it. The offensive skill, Ultimate Thunder Kill, would be crafted similarly to the Freezing Fruit skills, wherein he would condense a ball of thunder in his right hand and hurl it at his adversary, akin to the ultimate move of Digga in its power form. The greatest advantage of the Heavenly Thunder Fruit for Yang Yu is that once his second martial soul, the Xianyuan sword, reached 7 rings, he could refine it with the power of thunder and the Xianyuan sword technique, transforming it from a martial soul into his divine artifact. This transformation would significantly enhance his chances of achieving divinity. Initially, he had worried about the thunder power due to his low level, yet unexpectedly, his slumbering aspirations had now been awakened. This realization thrilled Yang Yu, for attaining divinity symbolized eternal life, a prospect immensely appealing to him as an individual from Earth. Moreover, the Xianyuan sword technique had reached its second pinnacle. However, due to insufficient physical strength, he could not break through. Yet, once he acquired the gum fruit, the Xianyuan sword technique would ascend to its third level. After tallying his gains from this experience, Yang Yu wore a satisfied smile and murmured, "Indeed, this has been a bountiful harvest."